Hello, and welcome to Fun Shots-ish, sort of, multiple games. Fun Shots, Ancient Stones for now, until we go on a break, and then it'll be Fun Shots something else. Hi, we're playing some games today, but before we jump directly into that, we're gonna go around and get some of our yayas out, introduce ourselves. So to start, um, I like to have a throwaway question for Fun Shots introductions. So here we go. Our pattern here will be our name, our pronouns, and our favorite type of rock. Um, so because everybody has a favorite rock, right?
I used to.
So hello, I'm Dylan. I use he/him pronouns, and my favorite rock is hematite because that shit's shiny. I like shiny things. Jess, you go next.
Sure. I am Jess. She, her. Um, my favorite rock. This is a loaded question because true story, I used to collect gemstones. Like I was hardcore into gemstones.
Whoa.
Knew a lot about them. Probably if we're allowed to do precious stones, maybe like tanzanite was really cool because it's a beautiful color.
Hold on, I'm going to
Um,
Google.
or alexandrite because it fucking changes color.
Ooh.
And has
Ooh.
like weird ties to the Russian royalty back in the day, hence the name Alexandrite.
Wow, both of those are super pretty. Holy crap.
Yeah, they're beautiful, and they're real hard to get.
Mm-hmm.
You can really only get manufactured ones these days.
Mm.
Otherwise, you're going to be paying like a whole bucket load of money.
Yeah, yeah. Uh, pardon my coughing. I'm not dying, I promise. Julie.
Hello. My name is Julie, she, her pronouns, and my favorite rock, opals, probably, because of the dimension when the light hits them. White opals are beautiful. So,
Nice.
not very sturdy for jewelry, though, apparently. So,
They're real soft.
yeah.
And last but certainly not least, M.
Yeah, hi, M, she, her pronouns, and I went through like a really hardcore, for some reason, like Obsidian phase when I was like 13. That has always kind of
Nice.
stuck with me, so like I'm gonna go with that one. I was a
Fuck
big
yeah.
Igneous Rocks fans kind of in general, but yeah.
Suddenly Mew makes so much more sense.
Listen,
Tell us about the time you were a closet goth, M.
Yes, please. Go on.
so funny story.
Jesus.
Okay, we don't have time for this. We don't have time to do that, actually.
Well, I'm glad y'all are here. Tonight we're gonna be playing some games. As has been pointed out in chat, they're not super well known because Jess wrote one of them. No, this way on the overlay. Jess wrote one of them, and I wrote the other one, and we did that like within the last month. So
Yeah. They're brand new. This is the
Yeah.
first time anyone outside of my own Discord server has even heard of this game.
yeah. So before we start playing, Jess, why don't you tell us a little bit about Ancient Stones as a game?
Sure. So, Ancient Stones, as I'm getting my about the game up because I have a spiel. Uh, this was one of those things that I just like had an idea and it was like I should write this down before I just completely forget about it. And so
Mm-hmm.
I did. I'm trying to write another game and I need card prompts in it and I didn't have any practice writing card prompts. So this was my get the card prompt yayas out of my system. But the whole deal is Ancient Stones is a collaborative, peaceful, very chill kind of settlement based RPG. I wanted to make something that was just like nice and calming and like you could play it in a cabin with your friends and be very chill. So it's a settlement based RPG where you and 1 to 2 other players, or 3, whatever, a number of other players, build a homestead in the wilds of a far northern landscape, and by purpose or by chance begin to discover the secrets of the land you live on. The game is named and inspired by one of my favorite Skyrim tracks, Ancient Stones. Go listen to it if you want to. It's quite nice. And just like the experience that I sort of had playing that, and I didn't play the story, I just kind of wandered through the landscape mostly.
Mhm.
Like discovered things a lot. I didn't play the way you're technically supposed to. But I enjoyed it a lot. It was very nice to just roam around and explore. And so I kind of wanted to recreate that feeling with a little card game. So you can build a quiet home for yourself and your friends or family, discover a secret hidden within the land, or tell stories of the land and the people who came here before you.
Awesome.
And that's kind of the
Okay.
gist of the whole thing. It's purely a card prompt RPG. You need no other supplies. And it's kind of like Quiet Year. It's also designed to where you could just use a regular playing card deck and like split it up into the suits and use that and like use a PDF to match up the results.
Mhm.
Yeah. Yeah. Why don't we play the game? What do we need to do to start
Oh,
the
sure.
game?
Yeah.
So, bearing in mind this is also the second time any human has played this game.
And the first time any of us have played it. Yeah.
Uh-huh.
Mhm.
Zero
Myself
pressure.
included. I have not played this game yet.
Yeah.
I just wrote it. I didn't play it, okay? But essentially what we do is each player will create a hand. We'll take turns. We create a hand by drawing one card from each of the 4 decks. There is a deck titled You. These prompts are going to ask about you, the player, or the character that you sort of create, and help define who you are and the story of why you're here in the wilderness. Then there is Your Home, which is a prompt that asks you about the home that you're building steadily over time and sometimes includes obstacles that might need to be overcome in the process of creating your home. And then there's the land, which these prompts will ask about the land you live on and let you explore beyond your initial settlement and kind of discover features of the landscape and sort of build out the bigger area that you inhabit. And then the past, these prompts will allow you to find objects that are artifacts from the past. How far back is up to you. That's what you tell as you discover them. And they kind of tell the story of the land's past and maybe of others that might have lived in that area before you. So going around the table, each player will answer their hand of cards. Then you can discuss with one another who participates in the scene if you choose to role play. You don't necessarily have to. I feel like our group will. Because I know this
why you would
group.
think that.
I don't know. It's strange. It's like we like doing that.
RP sounds fake. It sounds like a nerd thing.
Sounds like a
What do
nerd
nerds
thing.
do?
Who the
We're-
fuck do you think you're kidding?
I don't know these people. I just clicked on a link.
I just clicked on the Zoom link. Now I'm here.
Yeah, I don't know what's going on. I don't know what the hell we're doing. This is dumb. So each player will answer their hand of cards and discuss with one another who you want to participate in the scene. Grant and Ethan had done a playtest for me a while back, like not too long ago, and it was just the 2 of them, so it was kind of a moot point. Since we are a bigger group, there might be some room for that discussion where we don't all have to be in every scene.
Mhm.
And then you discuss the potential answers to the prompt, and ultimately, it's a little bit like Dialect or Quiet Year, wherein like the person whose hand is currently being played kind of has the ultimate narrative authority
Mhm.
to like say, yes, we're going with everything we discussed, or yes, this one piece or whatever. But be receptive to collaboration.
Mhm.
So after you've completed your turn, or everybody has completed the turn, we go clockwise and we enter the phase of the changing times. And each player will ask and answer one question from a list of questions we have here that sort of there are things like how has your time here so far changed you? What do you love most here? What do you struggle with here? Things like that that kind of let you explore how the experience of being in this place has adjusted or changed you. So, then after everyone has answered one question, we basically do the process again until we're tired of playing, or until we've told our story, or until the cards are all gone. Once that's done, we compose our epilogue. So we'll discuss the findings, weave the tale of the past, and describe the end of our tale by answering together one question for each of the various decks. So for you, your home, the land, and the past. And then the game is over.
Awesome.
Cool.
The rest is in the cards.
Jess, why don't you take the first turn?
Okay. I can do that.
Do we all draw cards at the beginning, or is that that happens as we go around the table also?
We'll do that as we go around the table purely for Roll20 purposes.
Okay.
I think were we playing with real cards, it'd probably be easier to let everyone have their hand in hand. But Roll20, we've just got this limited game board, so
you can also hover over the deck, and the little card that pops out, you can just drag it onto the table.
Oh, sweet.
Oh, cool.
I'm not very well versed in Roll20.
It's fine.
Alright. Love that. Alright. So. Alright. Oh my god. I already get one of the scary questions for you. So here's the other thing. Since we're role-playing, I do not have any rules in place of initial character creation, but did we want to talk about who we are before we start, or just let the cards kind of help us develop that?
Would it maybe be helpful if we all took the U cards so that we could figure that out kind of from, because it seems like there's going to be little pieces of that are going to be kind of implied by the text on there, like just looking at the one that you have.
Like for our
maybe
first
we gotta
turn
figure out
around,
from that.
we all
can do
pick
that.
a U card and see what comes up. Yeah.
Sure.
I know Roll20 is going to make that look super janky, but like, okay. Draw. I know how to roll 20 good.
Super good at Roll20.
Okay. So I don't know if this is showing up for people who aren't me or not, because we all have to roll 20.
Mm-mm.
Oh,
Okay.
whoops. I stole your card,
Hi.
I think.
Hi.
Just say no.
That's my card.
Rude. So rude.
I
Oh,
thought I
here,
could
let
click on
me
it to look
draw.
at
I'll draw one for you, Julie. Whoops.
Thank you.
it. Yeah.
So, yours, Julie, is of the things you left behind, what will you miss most? Why?
Okay.
Yeah. This is a happy game, I swear. I think.
I mean,
Mhm.
so I drew, describe your daily routine. What 3 things must you do without fail each day? Which, not gonna lie, with how that is worded, like, that is a little more worded towards sad than not.
Look, Jess just doesn't know how to not make things sad.
Well, I don't know. Like, my mind for my card defaulted to apparently I must be a criminal.
Wow.
People are looking for me.
Okay.
Yeah.
Em, can you drag your card onto the tabletop?
Oh, sorry. Yeah, of course.
No worries.
There we go.
Yeah.
Ah.
Okay.
Of the things you left behind, what will you miss most?
Who are the people you brought with you yours, Dylan?
Yes.
Okay. Well. All right. So for me, what will I do?
Who wants to be related?
Yeah. What will I do if someone comes to find me? I'm probably gonna hide deeper in the wilderness. Who are they? I don't know. Let's say the crown is looking for me because I did something terrible.
Ooh, busted.
Of course.
Okay.
How I relate to you is up to you, Dylan.
I think, I think I'm part of the guard. Obviously. I'm a Crown's Guard captain. And the people that I've brought with me are my platoon.
Oh, God.
And I chose them. Because they are specifically the members of the guard that are the most accustomed to the wilderness.
Mm-hmm.
Interesting.
Okay.
So are we? Because the way you phrase that, it sounds like we might be playing competitively.
Which is an interesting take on this game, honestly.
Yes.
Yeah.
'Cause I was
That is an unintended result, but I'm here for it.
yeah, because my mind then went immediately to like scout or tracker or someone in this platoon for my routine based person.
Ooh.
Okay.
Okay.
Ooh. All right.
Well, all right. Jess, did you escape with someone, perhaps, then?
All right. Sure.
I don't know what I expected.
It was not this.
Okay. So of the things you left behind, Julie, what will you miss most and why?
I think. Oh, sure. Let's just dig the knife in right off the bat.
Are we a ship? Did we run away together? Did I steal someone important?
Or is this someone like what if you're like a child that they were going to they needed for some purpose?
Oh no.
And so this was we're going. I'm taking you and we're going.
Oh no.
Whoa.
Okay.
Okay. Yeah. All right.
I took the important kid.
Yeah. We'll figure
took
out who the
the-
important kid is later. I have a few ideas.
What if you took the heir to the throne?
Oh God.
Oh,
Why?
God.
Why?
Why though?
Who knows?
We're
We'll find out.
Okay. All
Okay.
right.
All right. You stole
right.
the princess, Jess.
I stole the princess, and I'm a giant air quotes criminal.
Okay.
Yeah.
All right. Well, that's a thing that just happened.
So
This
I think
is a peaceful game, Dylan. What are you doing?
I'm not saying it has to go anywhere dark.
Okay.
we can do hijinks.
We can do hijinks.
We can do hijinks. Oh.
Of the things you left behind, what will you miss the most? I think.
Oh no.
Em is dying.
Is it? Go ahead.
What she misses the most is a friend she used to have, who,
Maybe a scout in the guard.
maybe a scout who is totally not now hunting her, trying to bring her and this criminal back.
Oh my god.
Oh, the tangled webs we weave.
I
Alright.
cannot wait to make a home with these people.
This is gonna be real weird.
Best
I don't know
roommates
what
ever.
I do not know what I expected, but I really should have expected this.
Yeah. Okay.
Okay. Cool.
All right.
Cool.
So I'm the young princess, and I miss my best friend.
I think, okay, I don't know who I am specifically yet, or why I took the princess, but I assume it was for good reason.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, I don't think any of us are playing bad people.
No.
Yeah.
Clearly, I assume I felt justified for doing this for whatever reason, and I'm not taking her to do bad things. I'm taking her away for probably her own safety.
Mm-hmm.
Yeah.
So I was a noble. I served the crown and I found out bad shit. So
Mm-hmm.
Cool.
Were you her tutor or something?
yeah, we'll go with that.
Yeah, my governess. Sister, I don't
Yes.
know, tutor.
Yeah. Yeah, that
Um,
works.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. I need to figure out what the 3 things are for my routine.
That's big
Yeah.
tangled energy.
I'm just saying.
I am not.
There is a
Mother
mood which fits the wholesome yet adversarial.
Actually,
That
that's
is
not a
pretty
bad
much exactly
touchstone.
this.
We'll roll with that, yeah.
Yeah.
Except the Mother Gothel is inside the castle, I suspect.
Yeah. And I'm not a horse.
True. Would you like to play a horse, Dylan?
No. No, yes. I am not
I mean,
Ethan.
apparently whether or not you can play animals is like a really big like sticking point on this game. I've been hearing.
Yep. Yep.
Okay,
Okay.
all right. So this is the changing of the ages comes next, right? Or
No, actually,
Okay, yeah.
we broke from the rules a little
Yeah,
bit to
sorry.
do some character establishing
yeah.
exercise.
I'm really
but
glad
that's
we
good.
did though.
So we'll go through the rest of my hand, and then we will. Well, we can do the changing times after every hand, or we can do it after we've all gone once. As written, I did it after we all went once, but I think if I remember when Grant and Ethan were testing it, they actually did it after each hand. So I don't know what if you guys would like to try that, we can do that and see how it goes.
I'm kind
up
of a
for
fan
anything.
of if they're like big questions, maybe seeing a lot of stuff play out before we.
Okay.
Yeah.
But
Mhm.
I'm
We'll give it a go.
down if you want to try the other way.
Okay. We'll see how this goes as we discuss these other cards. So, what material is your home made out of? How did it get here? I think it is made out of stone. I think it's carved into the side of like a rock face, and it's been here. It's not a place that I created. I think it's a place that I found. A
Nice.
place to like hide out, and we realized like, oh hey, this is a living space. I'm gonna use it, and converted it. But it's built up into like a stone mountain or hill kind of structure. I probably don't know how deep it goes.
Mm-hmm. Surely nothing lives in here. This shall be fine.
No.
Totally safe.
Great. Fine.
I've never seen a movie in my life,
Of course I have.
or read a book, or listened to a story.
Nothing could possibly go wrong here.
No.
Then we move on to the land. You come across a creature in the wilds that you have never seen before. In the wilds or in my house? I don't know.
Well, I mean, how far does your house go before it becomes the wilds, really?
That's true.
The real question.
Describe the encounter. Do you tell the others about it? I think while I am probably out gathering wood for a fire, I've left my sweet little girl at home. I think I come across a beautiful, large, white stag that I just sort of briefly see in the woods. And we sort of lock eyes at least once, but after a few moments it just sort of goes on its way. And I think I will tell her about it. We could do a scene with that, if you agree, Julie.
Sure.
So, I think our tutor comes back into the house with an armload of firewood and knocks like the appropriate number of times. They've established a pattern. Like, don't open the door unless you hear me knock this specific number of times.
Right, exactly.
And so she comes in with the armload of wood. Everything safe and sound, love?
Nice and snug.
Good, good. You won't believe what I saw out there in the woods.
What did you see?
I saw a stag. Big as a house. Brilliant white. Glowed, even. It was beautiful. I think it was magic. Not in
Magic?
spirit.
Do you think it's watching over us?
I'd like to think so. It saw me. We looked at
Maybe-
each other.
Maybe it'll help keep us safe.
Mhm. You look for that white stag and be careful if you're out there. You get
Mhm.
lost.
Mhm.
So, and I think they'll go about the routine of getting the fire going and getting dinner ready and
Yeah.
whatnot.
Mhm.
Keep you safe from
Um,
big bad guard people.
yeah. And now the past. So, you discover a set of ancient tools. What are they? Do you know what they were used for? I think because this is some old home or structure or something that we've commandeered rather than built a home from scratch.
Mhm.
Probably in the process of like cleaning out the place and like trying to make it livable.
Yeah, there's a lot of dust in here.
Yeah. I think maybe she comes across some like glass instruments and things like glass and metal instruments that are super caked in dust, and she has to take care
Mhm.
tidying them up to really get a sense of what they are. And like out of character, we would probably know this as like an alembic or you know, chemistry and alchemical type of tools. But I don't think she necessarily knows what they are for.
Mhm.
They just seem like strange shaped glass bottles and metal things, and it's odd.
Yeah, I think the princess maybe kind of wants to play with them or help clean them.
Okay.
Yeah.
I think she'll probably like she'll let her help clean them, and it's just like, oh, be careful with those, they might break. They're very old.
Very gently sets the beaker down.
You remember the crystal glasses in the palace? It's like that, but even more fragile.
Okay.
And so they're probably sitting there, I think, by
Mhm.
candlelight, cleaning these things off, and probably just set them back up on the shelf to like look at. Because they don't really know what to do with them yet. And she's just like, perhaps if I could get some berries, I could make some jam and put them in there. Yeah. Would you like that?
Yeah. We don't have any bread though.
We'll figure out making some. We can make room. There's ways.
Okay. Making bread? I've probably never seen that done before.
Magic!
Exciting!
Magic!
Magic!
We see like a thought bubble, and it's just like what does she even think like bread is made out of?
I don't know. I think she thinks that like I'm getting the impression that she's pretty young. I think
Is she
she
like
just,
like 8
imagine-
or 10?
8 or 10 or something like that. She just imagines that like bread like grows fully formed on a bush or something like that.
They have a bush in the back of the kitchen at the palace, and they go pick it.
Yeah, like the breadfruit from Harvest Moon.
Oh yeah.
Perfect.
Like she's seen like a rolling pin, and she just assumes like that's like a tool you use to harvest the breadfruit. Of course.
Yeah.
All right. So that's my turn. Who wants to go next?
Do we want to go Discord order or not Discord? Zoom order. We could go stream order. We could go Who Cares order.
If you go like in a narrative order, like maybe we do Princess next, and then
Okay.
Captain of Guard, and then my Scrappy
Okay.
Scout Boy.
Yes.
Sounds good.
Okay.
All right, Julie. I will pull cards for you. Oops, we already pulled the U card. Let me recall that. No, not recall all. I just want to Whatever. We're gonna leave
you
that there.
can-
Sorry, whoever.
Hold on, I can fix it for you.
Okay.
Just,
I'm pro at roll 20.
just drag it in, then you delete it. And then it
Oh,
goes back in
please.
the deck.
Sweet. Okay, so yours was. Do.
Ooh.
We're gonna do some construction.
Hmm.
I'm gonna be
Get that
super
eight,
useful
put that
for
8-year-old to work.
You're gonna live in this house. You're gonna do your part. All right. Okay, so we already did the U card, so that was of the things you left behind. What will you miss most and why? Apparently, it was your
Mhm.
best friend, the scout.
Yeah, who I was gonna say is like a 12-year-old boy. Like,
Yeah.
Oh my god.
Oh.
Why did I bring you on this trip?
because I've got the best
small.
eyes out of anybody.
Yeah,
You
because
know it.
super good at scouting.
Mm-hmm.
So
Okay.
for the home card, can you see it okay on the stream?
Yeah. When the weather is good, you decide to add a new room onto your house. Describe the room's purpose and the process of building it. The first thing that came to mind was like a bedroom, like a proper bedroom.
Mhm.
'Cause that might also be something that Chumas is having. You know, or maybe they build like a little story time corner or something like that.
Oh, that's so fucking cute. Yes.
I hate
build
it.
like they build a little nook by like the
Yeah.
hearth that's in there
Yeah.
for story
So I don't
time.
necessarily think that it's like a separate room or anything like that. And you know, obviously because like an 8-year-old can't do like actual construction, maybe she just helps populate it with books.
Uh-huh.
Puts
Yeah.
up the curtain.
Yeah. Yeah. I think we see maybe do we see them sort of like putting this together, like
Mm-hmm.
the tutor has constructed the area and cleaned out the space, and then they're
Yeah.
decorating it. She helps decorate it, probably.
Yeah. And I think, and we'll explore like the exact reasons for this as we keep playing, but I think that she does trust the tutor and think that the
Mhm.
tutor is doing what's best for her.
Mhm.
I don't know what's made her fear what was waiting for her back at the castle, but she feels safe and comfortable here. You know, she wasn't dragged out of the castle against her will
Yeah.
at all.
Yeah, they left together.
Mm-hmm.
Okay.
She may not fully understand what's going on in the way that the tutor
Mhm.
does, but
Yeah.
yeah. The land. On a hike, you find a place with an incredible view. What do you see from this spot, and how difficult was it to get to?
Well,
So,
for an 8-year-old.
Yeah. Yeah.
Oh
I
no.
probably not much of a hike.
Yeah.
I'm just thinking back to the sort of trouble I got into when I was 8.
That's fair. Yeah. I
Mm.
climbed a lot of trees.
Mm-hmm.
I think that this place that we've found is if not in the valley, then near a mountain valley that's close enough that it's mountain valleys being gigantic things that they are. But and I don't necessarily think that it was particularly dangerous, but it was certainly a bit of a hike to get up to a point where you could look down at the valley spreading out below you.
Is it maybe the roof of our house, since that's in the side of a mountain?
Yeah.
We like decided
Um,
to see what was up top.
Mm-hmm.
Kid
Or
just
well,
rock climbs up a mountain.
yeah.
Oh,
Yeah.
that's a very cute
Bye,
image of
tutor.
like 8-year-old on back, kind of like.
Yep, we're just
Yeah,
hiking.
like-
Straight dad of
Yeah.
war.
mm.
Yeah.
Yep.
I
This
think
tutor is
Mom of-
ripped as hell.
Mama, learn.
Mom of learn.
so. I think the princess like probably tried to do it on her own, and the tutor, was
It's
like,
not a good
yeah,
idea.
Okay, if we're going to make a thing out of this.
Yeah, we're going to make a day of this. Let's go. Let's have a little trip.
And
It's
I
like,
think
maybe perhaps bring a sandwich.
No, we're going to eat first. Pack lunch. Make a day of it.
yeah, grapes and all that fun stuff. I'm sure. Just and once they get to the top and look down,
Whoa.
you think they,
Ooh,
This-
you got all robotic.
You
there
got
for a
robotic for a moment. I think you're fine now.
am I good?
Yeah.
Okay.
second. Discord was just freaking
Discord
out
had
for
a moment.
second.
Yeah.
Okay. It's okay, Discord. It's okay.
Just calm down. Everything's gonna be all right.
So, and I think once they get to like a far enough ways up the side of this mountain and look back down, they might see the stag. And it's the girls' the first time seeing the stag.
Yeah.
And I think they just sit and watch it for a little while.
Mm-hmm. I like it.
Mhm. Okay. And probably real hard for an 8-year-old. I don't think the tutor had a very tough time of it at all. Climbing the side of those mountains.
Yeah, I imagine like climbing.
all right, in the
climbing
past,
top of their house.
You
Not
find a
super.
site.
Oh. Oh.
What?
Oh, there was a lot of lag.
Yeah. Yeah. I think.
Am I good?
I'm gonna
think
real
so.
quick. I'm gonna switch our Discord server just to have that help and scooch it a little closer to Julie because we're on Central right now. So I'll throw us over to West real quick. All right.
Okay. We should be good.
Okay. The past. You find a site that appears to have ritual significance. Describe what you find and say if it has any connection to the discoveries you've made so far. Well, I mean, they've hiked up the side of a mountain. Did they find something while they're up there? Maybe some sort of temple that's open to the sky.
Ooh. Like a standing stones kind of situation, like a Stonehenge deal at the top of this mountain.
Yeah.
Does that mean there was a path up to there? Like an ancient path that like there were these big old steps you had to like lift the kid up and be like
Yeah.
here.
That would make
so like,
sense.
but like when you're looking down, like then you can see like, oh, those are depths
Mhm.
kind of situation.
Yeah. And like I sort of picture it like it wasn't necessarily like a mountain, but more like a really steep or tall green, like super green hill.
A valley, yeah.
That structure is at the top of.
And I'm not sure, we haven't discovered a terrible number of things so far besides our little home
And our stag.
and our stag. That's true. Maybe the image of the stag is carved into these rocks.
Apparently we're now playing Brave. You had the chance to change your fate, would you?
my
Oh god. And that was it. Thank you all so much for coming. Shutting it down.
Oh, God.
Goodbye, everyone.
Anyway.
Okay. Yeah, so I think that's what we find up there.
That works. All right.
Does that mean it
so-
is my turn?
Tis your turn,
All
Sir
right.
Dylan of Kingdom Land.
Yes, that is me.
Tis
I can't resize things, so that's gonna be up to you.
Okay. Alright, I'll do it. Boop.
Boop. And then boop. And then boop. Alright. Describe a typical breakfast. Where do the ingredients come from? How do you prepare and partake of the meal? So I'm imagining that our home is not far from theirs. Like we're like in the same valley, basically.
Yeah.
And it's just like it's a camp. Like it's a campsite.
Yeah, like it's a home, but like in the sense that like this is like kind of like a long-term campsite more than an actual like place we've really like leaned into and built.
Yeah. And yeah. So our breakfast I think is like road fare. I think we've got some like cured sausages, and some somewhat dense bread, and water.
Not exactly hardtack.
Yeah.
Yeah.
How do you prepare and partake of the meal? I think actually standard issue is just sort of like eat the stuff that the crown gave you as it was given to you. But I think over this journey, as we've been following the princess and this traitor to the crown, we've discovered or sort of built a system where we cook the cured meat in the water to make a sort of stew and then mop it up with the bread. We've got these like shallow like tin bowls that we eat out of while we just sit on stumps around the campsite.
Yeah. I think every once in a while, like, I'll come back in and be like, hey, so come like with some like random root vegetables or something, but like, do you think we can cook this? And so it's been a series of mornings where like sometimes there's something more in there, and sometimes you're like, no.
Yeah.
Sometimes you're like, no, that's poison.
And I think
super poison.
I think there's someone else. There are obviously other people in our company, and I think one of them is this somewhat old woman who is like the royal herbalist. And so every time you come into camp and you're like, what about this? I just like cast a look over to the herbalist, wait to see if she nods or shakes her head, and then just say, no. Oh, all right.
Awesome.
God.
Good.
Oh no, I love them already.
Our scout doesn't help.
He'd do. Yeah.
He tries.
And I think we're tied for being the first ones awake every morning. Like, I feel like my character is this disciplined old veteran kind of guy. He's been doing this job his whole life, and so he just gets up at the crack of dawn like clockwork every day. But you being so curious and full of energy, constantly you're like, okay, I'm gonna get up. I'm gonna look around.
So I'm up. Yeah.
Guys awake, so I'm.
Yeah. Exactly.
How many Disney references can we fit in this show?
All of them.
Every single one. Go the Distance starts playing in the background.
Oh no.
What is the most beautiful location I've found here? Why do I think so? Ooh, is it okay if I make it a little sad?
Yes.
Totally.
Okay.
Yeah.
We're playing competitive Ancient Stones now, so do whatever you want.
I think one day we found like a monument in sort of like a small dell with a creek running through it. And as an audience watching this Disney movie, we can see that it like bears a resemblance to that open air temple that the others found. But this is a monument to fallen soldiers from some bygone age, and it's beautiful to me because of the sacrifice that it represents, but more than that, because the monument in its writings doesn't just talk about like these are the soldiers that died for us, yada yada. It talks about the sadness of the war happening in the first place, and it doesn't put these these people forward as, you know, these are the heroes we strive to be, so much as this is the price that we paid for what we did. And I think that speaks to my character really deeply. And so I'd kind of like to have a scene with that.
Okay.
Where we come into this dell, and I just sort of walk up to the monument, and I take my helmet off, which I don't think I do very often. I take my helmet off, and I put a hand on the weathered stone. Do you know what this is?
Looks like a big old rock, boss.
Aye. That it is. Well, it's an important rock, kid.
Yeah? He kind of scratches his head. How do you figure?
Same way every rock's important. Someone put it here because they wanted to say something. And they wanted it to last a long time. You think back to the castle we came from. It's the same thing.
Never thought about it that way, but yeah, that's a pretty big rock too.
It says something, doesn't it?
Yeah. And I think there's like this moment where it looks like this kid is gonna like say something like just kind of blow this thing off and say something stupid and quippy, and then he like happens to catch like this like one glint in the eyes of the captain, and there's that moment of, oh, there's something real here. That little bit of emotion. And he just kind of stares up at the rock. And I think like we kind of like maybe we pan back on like the silhouette of those two.
Yeah. I think before we close, the captain will like put a hand on your shoulder and say, someday you'll put up a rock. Maybe not like this, but when you do, make sure it says something good.
You got it, boss.
And the past. You discover the remnants of an old object in the water near your home. Enough of it remains to be usable. Describe the object and tell the others what you think it was used for. Ooh. So the remnants of an old object. I think it's a book. And I think while the book is old, it hasn't been here for a long time. I think it's a book that the princess and the tutor took with them when they left. And it marks that we're on the right path.
Was this a book of the tutors or a book of the princesses?
Is this if it's a book with the princesses, then
yeah, I think it's a book of the princesses.
And I probably know it.
Yeah.
It is a story that I think they've read together several times, if that's all right with Dylan.
Yeah, so I think what that looks like is like the guard captain finds it and he opens it and he reads one of the pages sort of aloud while your character is not looking. And then you can you call back the rest of the sentence.
Yeah. Oh, that's real cute. Yeah, then he kind of like scrambles over. It's like, oh, hey, let me see that. Is that?
Just, like, out of my hand.
Yeah.
You know this book?
Yeah. It's hers. We used to read this all the time. Like, look, this page is missing. That was me. I ripped that page out. It was super my fault. But this has gotta be hers. We gotta be close.
Are you sure?
Yeah, I'm positive.
All right. Everyone fan out. See what you can find. And I think that's where I want to end my turn.
Okay.
I'm terrified. Help! Right, so it is M's turn.
Alrighty.
Draw your cards, I will resize them.
Okay. Let me do that real fast. Oh, right. I can just pull it out, right?
Everything is like linking. I expected this from a card prompt game, but everything's linking together in a really cool way.
So if you hover
Already.
over the deck, M, one of the cards
Yeah.
should slide up a bit, and then you can click and drag that card onto the table.
Okay.
Yeah.
Oh, I see. Gotcha.
Yeah.
Woo! Roll 20 is not as complicated
Yeah.
as I think.
Yeah, not the most intuitive.
Yeah, the decks are a little bit weird, but once you kind of get the hang of them, it's not so bad.
Yeah.
Okay.
Okay.
Oh, no.
Ooh.
You got one of my favorite past props.
Great.
That's very fun. Okay. Well, I don't think I ever actually did like the 3 things routine card
Mhm.
Yeah.
from my boy.
Yeah, so
Um.
go ahead and do that.
Okay. So I think since he's a scout, I think he and the captain always have like this breakfast type situation. So they probably have like an established kind of morning dynamic where we have like the stoic and jaded versus the super bright and spry and cheery. And I think after that, like the first thing he has to do every day is, I think this is one of those things where like I think he actually spends most of his day away from the group, actually doing the actual scouting thing, and so he has to like go out and range a bit. So I think 2 of the 3 things are just actual scouting stuff. So like go out and track, come back, give your report. But I think the 3rd thing he does every day is he's got like a little diary or a journal or something he has where he's been writing down like all this cool stuff about the land and stuff, but it's written like as a series of letters. Oh yeah, what if I think he's writing like a series of letters to like send back home to like what if, I don't think he knows the bad thing. The
I don't think
reason
any
that-
of us do.
I don't think
Except the
either of us
tutor.
do.
Yeah, this seems like some sort of conspiracy situation.
Yeah, yeah. So I think he's actually writing like the report back to scary person back at castle. Um
We have a
Yeah.
villain.
yeah. Yeah. Okay. And then I think the last aspect of the routine is just like watching the sunset, I think.
Oh.
Like they watch the sunrise and they watch the sunset together.
Uh,
Yeah.
I love this grizzled war dad and his small scout son.
We
A whole
have Dad
bunch.
of War and Mom of Learn.
you know, sometimes a family is just a kidnapping teacher with the princess and the guards sent to capture them.
Yeah, sometimes. I guess.
And
This is gonna end happily.
Weird
I don't know what
scrappy
you guys are
son.
talking about.
I'm sure we'll ship it at some point.
It just be that way sometimes, you know?
Okay, so for our home, I mean, I kind of get the impression like our home is like like we kind of built it.
Mm-hmm.
So I think it's actually this like really like I think maybe we arrived in this valley like expecting to find them, so we know they're here somewhere, but we cannot figure out where. I think we didn't expect to actually have to like hole down and like set up a campsite long term. So I think it's just like really ramshackle, like we've like dragged in like tree branches and stuff. So it's a very like, yeah, like they're like halfway structures built here.
Yeah, so is it like a combination of still some tents, but also some more permanent looking structures as you've
It's
been
like a
here
forward
a while?
base.
Yeah, like we have the beginnings of a lot of pieces of a larger, like more long-term settlement, but I don't think we've been here long enough for any of those to really be long and functional. So like, we're probably not in a super great place if like bad weather shows up. But like, hopefully we won't be here that long. We're trying to live here.
There's definitely no prompts that talk about storms. In this
yeah, no, I'm sure we'll be fine. Well, you know, we're gonna find who we're here for, and then we're gonna take off. So you know,
yeah, any day now.
Any day now.
Any turn now.
Later.
Any turn now.
Oh no!
Oh no!
Congratulations,
Em!
You made it sad.
I don't want to make my boy sad though.
Oh,
you made the goodest boy, so he gets to be the saddest boy now.
No!
But no, though.
I thought this was a happy game, Jess.
You said this was a happy,
You
cozy fireside
lied.
game, you fucking liar.
I said peaceful. I didn't say happy.
You said cozy fireside game.
You did.
Yeah, but you can be sad by a fire.
You can't be sad and cozy.
Yeah, I do kind of wish we were all cuddled by a hearth doing this, to be honest. But, anyway.
I don't have enough cats for this.
Oh. Hey, there you go.
Thank you.
Oh, okay. I have to figure out in what way I want to make my boy sad.
Jesus.
Oh, the myriad of ways.
I can't believe you've done this.
I am also open to ideas here.
Maybe
because like I don't have a whole lot built for this boy yet.
Is he like into how pretty the nature is here? Maybe he finds a spot where there was like a fire or something, and it's kind of like dead.
Or a wounded animal.
Does that work, or does it have to be like a place?
I mean, it's a place, but it doesn't have to be the place that makes you sad. It could be something in the place.
Okay.
So maybe he finds a wounded animal that might be beyond.
Or even it could be there's a place where you did find a wounded animal, and now that place.
Yeah,
true.
I think this is like like they've been on this journey, and it's been like this whole beautiful like series of discovery and like getting to know each other, and he's outside the castle for the first time, and everything has been so new and beautiful. And I think there's this very sudden, very jarring parallel to a thing that happened back at the castle. Like maybe like a very similar sort of event happened where like he maybe like saw like a hawk attacking a mouse or something, and like at home in the castle he tried to fight it off, but he was too young, he was too weak, he couldn't do it. But now he's like, oh well, I can fix it this time. I'm older, I'm stronger, I know more. But it didn't work. Like it's still like it was too wild, it was too strong, he's too young.
Natured.
So it's less a feeling of sorrow, more a feeling of like powerlessness.
Can I twist the knife a little more?
Yes, please.
How polite of
What
you
if-
to ask.
Consent's important, Jess. So what if?
Especially when you're hurting your
So you're talking
friends.
about this hawk, right? This idea of like a hawk catching like some small like a rat or a mouse or something. What if that happens again and you shoot the hawk? and you think you've saved this creature, but the creature is already
then they're-
dead.
But instead you
both
killed
dying.
both. Like they're both dead.
Oh.
Yeah, no, that's better. And by better, I mean worse.
We're sorry, boy.
I'm sorry.
We're sorry, boy.
I'm sorry for forced to confront the harsh realities of life. But yeah. Yeah, so I think, like, we don't necessarily need a full scene here. I think what we see is just our boy walking back into the campsite, cradling this, like, hawk and the hawk and the rabbit, like, both together in his arms.
Oh.
I think
Looking
the
very
captain
sad.
would probably say something along the lines of, "You can't save them all."
Oh, ow.
Tough love, Dad. Okay.
And I'm sure his context for that did not have anything to do with animals.
No.
Happy game.
Happy
Cozy.
game! What a nice, fun
haven't-
game we have
We haven't
here.
even figured out why I kidnapped the princess to save her from something.
I'm sure that has a happy, fun, cozy reason.
Yeah. And there certainly isn't a parallel between the captain saying, "Sometimes you try your hardest, but you can't save everyone," and this very thing that they're doing right now.
I know.
Yep. It's not like the hawk is representative of something and the rabbit is representative of something.
No, not at
No.
all.
Not at all.
Disney, contact us.
We're making a very meaningful story.
We will give this to you for a very low price. Also, if you could, like, maybe a lobby to adjust copyright laws to be a little less draconian, that'd be cool.
Yeah, that'd be super neat. And I don't know, like, this is definitely a musical. Let's, like, I don't know, keep Lin-Manuel Miranda. He's good.
Yeah.
All right.
Oh god, yeah, no, there was definitely some like whistle while you work bullshit going on when they were making that story nook.
Or like some Mary Poppins level bullshit about stories and things
Yeah.
and learning.
Yeah.
Am I fantasy Mary Poppins now?
Yes.
Yes.
I think you might be.
You are
Yeah.
medieval Mary Poppins. Congratulations.
Medieval Mary
Definitely.
Poppins, I love it.
Great.
One more, and then we do the changing times.
Okay. Alright, you find a mysterious old door that you are unable to open. Describe it. I want to say this is. I think I find a place that is very similar to this, like, totally not Stonehenge. That our parallel team discovered. Only this one has like I think it's a door, but it's one of those doors that looks
It's
like
a
it's like an empty frame. Like it's just there. So like I guess this is kind of against the you are unable to open thing, but I think it might be more of a
I mean, you
This
can't open a door
clearly-
that doesn't have a...
yeah, like this clearly is a door. Like it is a frame where a door is supposed to be.
Is it like that picture that Anna sent? It's just
I'm
a
not
door.
saying that's exactly what popped into my head.
Hanging
But
out
that's
in the
exactly
middle
what
of the
popped
door.
into my head. Yes,
Fuck
yes. I'm
yeah.
thinking of creepy Sweden door.
I love it.
Hashtag
Creepy sweet door.
God, you know, I wish I could provide context, but just really, it's not possible, so...
So it's just a door frame in the middle of nowhere.
It's listed just a door frame in the middle of nowhere, but I think it's a door frame in the middle of nowhere, like in this very like clearly like meaningful temple type area. Like someone probably stepped through this for some purpose, but we don't know what that is.
Ooh.
Do you tell the others?
Oh yeah. Yeah. I think I come like I come like scrambling down this like, rocky mountainside. It's like you won't believe what I found.
What was it? Did you find them?
Come on. No, better. Well, not better, but come on.
There we
You gotta see. This is so cool.
Alright, everyone stay close.
Oh no.
Oh no. You're gonna try to open it?
Well, no, I think I mean I have not communicated that this is a door. I think
Yeah,
he
no,
thinks
you
this
can-
is like a big old significant thing.
Yeah,
so
he
like
thinks it's a
I
thing,
just,
so it's
I'm
like,
scrambling
everybody
up the hall. Like, I
Gather
don't
up.
notice that he's actually trying to like bring a whole squadron in here.
Yeah. And I'm like, push through like the undergrowth. All right.
I think like as you push through the undergrowth, like you push the brush away, and there's just like our boy just like doing like finger guns at this door.
So they're like, I imagine like they're kicking through the undergrowth for a while, and it's like really dark, and like
Yeah.
the
Yeah.
music is
This
getting
bright
really
light
tense.
reveal.
And then you guys pop through the undergrowth to the door on the other side, and it just like we get a wide shot of
Yeah.
this big empty space in this door.
Yeah.
It's a big rock, probably, right? Stone
yeah.
door.
I think the captain like raises an eyebrow under the helmet. What if it's a magic door?
Yeah, like are there
Yeah.
carvings on it? Like
I think-
things that look significant?
Yeah, no, I think this is like definitely like a significant like magic type stuff. Like where my mind went is like this might be if we're doing temple stuff and this is open to the sky. Like maybe this is like when the moon hits it just right, like it becomes an actual
Yeah.
door. But
Ooh.
right
Because-
now it's just the empty frame.
And Jess also mentioned that the home that they're staying in like goes on deeper into other stuff. So maybe you think like cool door, and then like the
Cool
the
door, and then the,
the
magic
sorcerer
like
that
activates.
we brought with us is like, Captain, this is a thing.
This is actually a door.
This is actually a very cool door.
Yeah.
This is we would be more specific to say it's a portal.
If you will allow me a moment to be precise.
A couple of like CD
like-
advisor types.
Yes.
Actually, my lord.
Love it. You're like,
Excellent.
look, cool door. It's just a doorway. Isn't that neat? And we're like, ooh, like the cello and the bass swell up.
Yeah, I dig it.
Great.
So if you've
Cool.
got like your sorcerer who's probably not at all creepy in any way, shape, or form, do they try to find a way to open the door, or like can they read the shit that's on the door and figure out how to make it work?
I kind of like the image of like it's like cool door, but like it's late enough at night that like I think like the last ray of sunlight hits this door frame and it's like cool door, and then
Portal.
Yeah.
Is he still like?
yeah, exactly.
Right.
Even cooler door.
The captain probably yeah. So the captain would have a moment of like step away from that. That's probably dangerous. And then the sorcerer would be like, but you do not see the opportunity we have found here.
Oh God. Do we end the
Awesome.
scene there and cliffhanger that, or?
I mean, we've got some questions, right?
got some
That
questions.
come when we end the
Yeah.
turn.
Uh-huh.
Yeah.
Yeah. So, all right. So with that, we are now at the changing times. We each go clockwise, so whatever. Like, I'll ask
Let's
Julie
just
the question.
Go in the same order we just went.
Yeah,
in.
that'll be easiest.
All right. So I'll ask Julie the question. Julie, you'll ask Dylan. Dylan, you'll ask M, and M, you ask me.
Love it.
So.
And we pick one question off the list, right?
Yep.
Okay.
And
Sorry,
we can repeat.
Where is the list? I'm.
It's in the
It's
handouts
in
and how to play.
Yeah,
Oh, I
it's
see.
in how to
Gotcha.
play. So.
Could someone throw the questions in Discord real quick?
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
So
it.
Julie, thank you. What do you love
Oh,
most
perfect.
here?
What do I love most here? I think this is the most peaceful things have been for me for a little while.
Oh.
And I'll let what we're exploring continue to inform whatever nefarious things are going on there. But and I think this is probably the first time she's really felt like she's had a parent, just because of the way life is in the castle. so I think she's just really enjoying getting to spend time with her tutor without having to read books all the time, or without having to learn all the time, you know.
Oh. Yeah, they're
Oh.
just like learning for fun now and just
Yeah.
having a nice home and getting to read stories and
You
go
know,
poke around in the woods.
yeah, she's definitely the type to like run out and come back with like a handful of weeds or whatever. Like, what are these?
What are those?
And then like 10 minutes later, you have a massive rash on your hand.
Like, oh no, dear, you shouldn't.
It's poison oak, darling. That's
Yeah.
We're going to learn how to make calamine lotion.
Yes.
Yeah.
Well, I know what we're doing for today's crafting activity.
Yeah, exactly.
Both the princess and the scout are having parallel hijinks.
Yeah.
Can we eat this? Oh, my hand itches.
So I think like now that they're like hidden out, it's just a lot of like them sitting tight until the tutor feels like the danger is past. So she's having a grand old time. We're having fun activities every day. I get to bond with this person I really like who makes me feel safe.
Yeah,
It's like
and
Castle 2.
Yeah.
Yeah, and I imagine like as they're there, they probably kind of take it a day at a time, but they explore a little deeper in and just like kind of gradually reclaim this place.
Yeah, definitely.
Yeah. So, Julie, you get to ask a question of Dylan from the list.
Every single one of these hurts.
I love all of them. Please
Um,
ask away. I'm an open book.
What do you struggle with here?
A lot of things, I think. I struggle with interacting with this scout. Like I think
I don't know how to connect to my son.
I don't think I wanted to bring him. I think probably the sorcerer, since I think we're sort of leading in the direction of the sorcerer is probably the bad guy. I think
That seems to be kind of where this is going.
We seem to have a villain.
I think the sorcerer insisted. I think at first the sorcerer was like, we should bring someone that was close to the princess, so that if we find her, we can like help her see that she needs to come home. And the captain was like not a fan of that idea until finally the sorcerer was like, oh, but he knows all these things about the wilderness, and he will help
he's
us
a very
navigate.
good scout. He'll be useful.
And so I think he's struggling because he didn't want this kid to be here in the first place, and he's gotten so deep into his role, and I think you're sort of challenging a lot of that. I think there are moments where the captain is like, all right, we're doing this, and you're like, wait, but why?
Yeah, I think there are a couple times probably where I'm like right, like where he does find a better way because it's just not part of the routine, but the routine is the routine.
Like I imagine even the breakfast thing of like making the stew and then eating it with the bread, that was probably your idea.
Oh, totally, yeah.
Instead of just like noshing on the rations and just like feeding the body.
Yeah, nosh the rations, drink some water, hit the road.
Yeah.
And I think also, I'm struggling because I don't know why I'm here. Right? Like I'm starting to not trust the sorcerer so much. And I'm just having doubts about the mission. Yeah. Yeah.
Ooh.
Dun dun.
We done went and made this dramatic.
I am.
We did what we do.
Truly.
Oh no. Surprising. Wait.
Literally no one.
Literally
Yep.
no.
Okay.
Alright.
All right. I need to
So-
ask
Shock
Em a
faces?
Uh,
question.
Yep, you ask Em a question now.
What can I do to help you?
Oh.
God,
gosh.
that's so perfect.
Hmm. Ooh, I think our boy like really kind of needed that dad figure. I think he's like he's a wild child. He's a scrappy boy. I think he probably like his friendship with the princess was probably not super kosher. Um, like I think this may have been like a sort of thing where like the
Did they, like,
sorcerer knew.
Sneak out a little bit every now
Yeah,
and then.
Yeah,
I
a
think
little
this
bit of
was like
sneaking
a
around.
little sneaking around. I think, yeah, like the sorcerer probably knew and was like I think I got dragged along on the mission, but I think I also like this is a fun adventure, and I'm super glad I'm not like in a ton of trouble for like meeting up with the princess.
Mhm.
But like, I think as we're going, I'm getting a sense of like this is adventure, but this is danger. This is
Like grown-up stuff.
grown up stuff. Like I don't there is that sense of like I also don't really know what, and I think you offer me that comfort. Like I think I trust you. I think what you can do to help me is continue to be the one person I know I can trust here. And to be that one stable pillar in this whole wacky situation that is way above my head.
I love it.
Wow. All right, you get to ask me a question.
Yeah. I'm so torn. There are two that are really good for you.
Oh boy.
Do you want to leave this place?
Ooh. I think at first she did, because it was intended to basically, I think it was, they arrived and it was like, oh look, we have a place to hide. This will work for now. We'll deal with it. But I think over time, as we've sort of begun to carve this old ruin into a home, and it starts to feel like a home, she kind of doesn't want to leave. The princess seems happy. Their days are quiet and peaceful.
She doesn't miss the
And-
castle at all.
I think there are things in the castle that she might miss, but she's honestly afraid to think about it too much.
Mhm.
Because going back doesn't seem like an option at all.
Perhaps a striking, grizzled captain of the guard.
Yeah, definitely.
Yes.
Absolutely.
Okay.
They were probably a thing. I think they're about the same age.
We'll become a
Yes.
family yet.
Yeah.
Yes.
She's what they would call a spinster.
Yeah.
Which sometimes a family is two royal professionals with no time for love. And,
And the children they kidnapped.
and the children they drag along the way.
Hey, the kids are gonna have a grand old time, you know?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Ooh. So many poisonous bushes we can grab.
So many.
Sad.
Many.
All right. So we've all done our hand.
Mm-hmm.
How time-wise, Dylan, what would we like to do? Do we want to continue and see where this goes? Or...
I think we could probably, Em, if you have time, I think, because now that we know how it goes and we know where it's going, I think we can do one more quick turn each.
and then wrap
Okay.
and do an
Yeah.
epilogue probably. Yeah.
Oh, that sounds good. Yeah.
Okay.
One more turn and then an epilogue sounds really.
All right. One more hand apiece. So I will draw some cards.
Yes.
We just answered this one though.
Oh. I mean, do you care to expand upon that a little bit?
I absolutely can. Definitely.
Hi.
This is
I
a
am-
good game, Jess.
I am standing on the deck of this ship and it is sinking fast.
I was drinking water, Jess.
I'm sorry. Are you okay? Are you alright?
Yeah, it's okay. I'll survive.
Okay, good.
Oh, there's a Starcross game.
Oh,
Ooh, did we just find our Starcross?
We found the Starcast characters. We did it.
Yay!
Thank you, Em.
Okay. All right. So, who did I leave behind and why them? I think she did leave behind a very a striking and dedicated captain in the Royal Arms.
I think his name is Roland.
Roland.
Mhm.
Okay. Gosh, what do I name her? I think we'll name her Amelia. I feel like maybe it's to me it's one of those situations where they've probably known each other a very long time, like when they were new and fresh rookies into this biz. Maybe he, if you'll permit me, Dylan, maybe he was already like in the guard, but he was new when she arrived to the kingdom and applied for this tutor position.
Yeah.
So he was one of the first people she met.
Yeah, well, because presumably when she was new to the castle, she needed to have a guard with her to make sure she like didn't go into places she wasn't supposed to go in or something. And maybe that was Roland.
So yeah, I think she was this like plucky young girl that was just like, yeah, I'm gonna make a name for myself and be this royal scholar. And
how
Didn't
long
quite-
ago was this?
they
20
seem,
years?
yeah, they seem,
They seem pretty old.
yeah, they seem up there in years. So probably about 20 years, and they were like early 20s at that time.
Yeah.
So they're like 40 something these days.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, she had like big dreams of being this fancy royal scholar and didn't quite make it there, but she was happy taking on the role of the tutor for the royal children, or other children in the castle. And I think she would often find him on his tasks and like bring him tea or something, or take her tea out and take a breather and just chat with him.
Like go hang out where he was posted.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Yeah, exactly. And they sort of very gradually over the years formed this connection that maybe there was something, but nobody ever really said anything either way.
Yeah. Yeah. 100%.
But she left him behind because I think she didn't want to drag him into this mess.
Well,
I know. See, the way I see this is, I think she saw something she was not supposed to and learned the princess's fate, and I think it has something to do with that door. There might be some weird like world swap and sacrifice nonsense going on here.
Oh boy.
Yeah.
I'm glad we're on the same page.
Yeah.
can't wait to fight a sorcerer.
Are we ever not, Em?
I mean,
yeah,
we're gonna fight a sorcerer.
Yeah, I think she discovered something like that. She may have seen the sorcerer up to his bullshit. And normally, Roland would have been the first person she would have gone to for help. But I think she didn't want him to have to sacrifice his position for this. And just decided to take the princess and go
Mhm.
and just not tell him anything. Like they just disappeared.
Yeah.
So yeah, ow, it's fine. GG, Amelia.
Ooh, or maybe what if it's not just she didn't want to get him in trouble? It like when she overheard the sorcerer talking about this thing, presumably like the guard is meant to protect the princess. So maybe whoever he was talking with was like, well, but what about the guard? And the sorcerer had like some dastardly like
Yeah.
or we'll just kill him and it'll be fine.
Yeah, don't worry, we'll just kill him.
Ugh.
Cool. Yeah, so she was basically like, oh shit, I should grab the princess and leave now.
Mm-hmm.
Because she obviously gets to be with the princess unsupervised. She's
Mhm.
practically raised her.
Mm-hmm.
Right.
Ugh.
Love it.
Okay, cool.
Happy game you got here, Jess.
If you just think of it like a Disney movie, it's not that bad.
Yeah.
Yeah. Like that's fair.
what I'm
This is
doing.
actually a very Disney movie plot.
I'm just
Yeah.
thinking of it like a Disney movie, and that's helping
Yeah.
a lot.
Yeah. All right. Describe an area in your home used for recreation. What do you do there? I think in the course of uncovering room by room this place that they've found, they found what was probably a library that's like stowed with all these old books. And she was very excited about this. And like they cleaned it all up. Some of the books have been moved to the reading nook in their main room.
Are some of these books are these books in an old language that they can still understand, like Old English, or
There might be, maybe there's a combination. There's probably several books there that are gibberish to either of them. But then there might be some books that she might know because she's well educated. And then there's just, an assortment of slightly more recent, or at least recent enough that they're understandable. They're not new.
That's why Roland could read the monument.
She taught him how to read fancy. Oh my goodness. Oh god, these nerds.
Look at M's face.
Can this family just run away into the wilderness and never go back to society?
We'll see.
We just gotta punch this fucking sorcerer through the magical door and then go happily ever after.
Exactly.
Yeah,
We,
okay.
we send them into like the vortex dimension or whatever, and then go live happily in a cave.
We'll give him a proper Disney villain death. You don't see him die. He just
Exactly.
fucking gets vaporized into
Exactly.
the hole.
I'm sure he's fine somewhere.
We send him into the shadow realm.
Yeah.
Somebody else.
Like actually though.
God.
Um,
His name's Kaiba now.
You were gonna say something, Lily?
I think the princess really likes the library.
I think
Mhm.
as for to answer the what do we do there, I think the lessons continue. She's still a young lady. She still must learn.
And it's something to do.
Yeah, exactly.
That's true. Yeah. Squirrely child. We can't run
Uh-huh.
around the mountainside outdoors forever. They will see
Yeah.
us.
Yeah. Yeah, so I think she tries to keep a routine about their day, and there's, the time that they would normally do lessons. She has brought that back into their daily routine.
Okay. Yeah, so maybe she's learning some of the old language even.
Yeah. I
Um,
think so.
Yeah,
Uh,
definitely.
yeah. These two are a little hard to roleplay out because a lot of it is just montages of them doing quiet activities.
Which
really.
is fine, and
Yeah.
also
Which is
like
fine.
time wise, like
Yeah.
that works.
That works.
Yeah. So yeah, there's that. The land. There is a body of water near your home from which you source your water. What makes it unique? I think I'm gonna say there was a day where, when she was out doing her gathering, she maybe saw the stag again and followed it a little ways and found this glade. Like it almost she's not gonna swear by it, but she thinks maybe it led her there.
But that can't possibly be true.
If she tells the story later, the princess absolutely thinks it's Stag.
Yeah. She's like, it seemed like it was leading me there, but that's silly. It's an animal.
Oh, it's watching over us. It led you to the water so that we could be taken care of.
Of course. Yeah. But I think she found this glade that has not a big waterfall, but kind of there's enough of an elevation that the water is leading from some spring somewhere, and it's just this very lovely pool with this fall of water, and it's all very crystal and clear and sort of lit by the sun coming down into it.
Were they having trouble finding reliable water before then?
I think so. I think she was getting worried. She wasn't letting the princess know. She was doing what she could to like source and like clean the water by way of various means. And it was working okay, but it was getting difficult.
Or maybe even just rationing what water you had.
Yeah. So that was getting very frightening, and then they found this place. And water is no longer a problem.
Hooray!
Victory!
Thanks, Mr. Stag!
Thank you, Great White Stag! Anyway.
The past. You discover something that is not so very old at all. What is it? I wonder if I find an arrow.
I think you find maybe an arrow that is maybe from one of us.
Yeah,
I think you found one of mine.
Yeah, I think I found an arrow from a boy that I probably know decently well, because I would know when the princess has gone sneaking off to see her friend.
Oh yeah, there's like a very distinct like fletching that he uses that like probably is not like the best, but it looks cool, so he uses it anyway and refuses like.
He's like, no, this is the coolest.
Well, I imagine
it's got stripes.
Like all of the fletching for the guard is probably pretty uniform, right? And then you have fletching your arrows that you make yourself.
Yeah.
So yeah, she finds this like handmade arrow that she has definitely seen this boy use.
Is this perhaps the arrow that brought the hawk down?
That's what I was thinking.
Yes.
Okay.
So
yeah,
it's
because
a
he
bloody
absolutely
arrow.
would have. Yeah, I mean, like, yeah, he absolutely would have like just left that there. Like, I didn't do it. I didn't.
Yeah. So I think we kind of see her pick this up. Like probably she approached it thinking it was like a twig, and she was going to grab it to add to the firewood stack. And sees it, and we just sort of see her lose color. Possibly her first thought is like, oh god, did he follow us out here by himself?
Yeah, no, totally. And that would make a lot more sense than what actually happened, honestly.
So she's probably like now sort of looking around and might now on her errands out be keeping an eye out for this boy. But I don't think she would tell the princess, because the fear would be that the princess would be like, my friend, and go off.
So the princess gets to discover the arrow on her own time. When you have secreted it away somewhere. Perfect.
Exactly. Yeah.
Yep.
For what it's worth, I've decided boy's name is just Aspen.
Nice.
Look at this. We've given our cast. We're getting our cast named and everything.
Yeah. An appropriately tiny, cute name for a tiny, cute princess.
Does she have a flower name? Since we have our boy with a tree name.
It's true.
Oh.
Rosalie.
Oh.
Nice.
God. These kids.
All right.
Okay.
Aspen calls her Rosie, I'm pretty sure.
I want them to grow up happy.
And strong and healthy.
Yeah.
I want to protect them from all the evils of the world.
I want to tell all my
protect
friends about it. I want to.
I want to see. I want to tell my friends and neighbors about it. I want to see it grow happy and healthy.
God. Yep.
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 There we
did
go.
that.
It's
Look at what
that's
we've
the meme. We did it.
Yep.
Go
Okay.
team, we did a whole meme.
All right. Do we
Yep.
want to just keep the turn order we took before and
Yeah.
go on that way? All right.
that
Then do you want to draw for Julie?
Yeah. I will
Yes,
draw for
please.
Julie.
Oh, thought though, just a brief thing,
Mhm.
just in case.
Mhm.
If we are trying to get into more interplay between the two groups, it might make sense to actually switch off between
Yeah.
rather than going
Okay.
directly into the princess, because that might give like some things
True.
might be developed that then could.
True.
Okay.
Could
Yeah.
feed into yeah. Okay.
So who
Um,
wants to go next?
Aspen should go next.
Okay. Oh yeah, that makes sense. Okay.
Man, the secret card would have been real interesting for the princess, though.
I mean, I don't give a shit about rules. Like you can keep it for her.
Okay.
Yeah,
Let me
'cause,
draw-
like,
let me
I
draw
also
you
am very.
another.
Yeah, I
Mhm.
also am very curious what the princess's answer for that would.
Gonna have to think about that.
Oh.
Oh,
Oh.
fuck.
Ooh.
Oh
Oh no.
no! Oh wow. Okay, well these are the whole time.
Do you find them?
I think I might find them. Or
Well, visitors arrive to where you are. So is this like
so
a
you
new-
find me. I think
Shit.
yeah, I think you find Aspen.
Oh no. Oh no. Okay.
There we go.
For him.
I'm trying to think of how this could then factor into the next one thing.
Yeah.
Because there are two options here. One, I go back with you and then I'm followed. For a somewhat nebulous definition of your home. Or
Another kid.
huh? Yeah.
Lynn and Chat said
Lynn.
time to kidnap another kid.
Right. I can do this. I'm a
Just
tough teacher.
climb into the sack real quick, Aspen. Thank you.
Go.
Oh my
Come to
god.
play a fun new game.
Well, I mean that is an interesting point though, because I think you might have to take him back with you, otherwise he's going to run back and be like, "I found him! Isn't that awesome? We can all go home now."
Oh,
Yeah.
gosh. Ooh, so is he perhaps out not too far from the camp, like scouting?
Yeah,
Mhm.
I
when
think
when
he
she
is
meets him?
just scouting, and I think
That's when you're searching for roots.
searching for roots, or maybe it's like. What if you're off doing your thing, and suddenly you look down, and you hear like a noise, and like there's an arrow in like I was hunting a rabbit or something, and so you see one of those same arrows.
Ooh, okay.
Does she call out?
Think so. I think here's what I think might happen because I'm looking at the rest of these cards.
Yeah, like this is some drama.
Like the how do you protect your home is a little tricky, but like that there is a place near your home that fills you with joy. Like she might take him
Oh,
back to go see Rosalie
yeah. No, that's what I was thinking.
with,
Like I think if
without
we're-
intent of letting him leave.
Yeah. So, okay. Here's a thought. Is against not technically how this game works, but like, what if we just swap those two cards, and protect your home comes after the.
I mean, there's no rule that says we have to play them in this.
Oh,
exact
okay.
order.
Oh, okay. Then yeah.
That's
Like,
Like we can
interesting take.
answer them in any order we want.
Awesome.
How do protect your new home?
Okay.
Because I think like this would probably be a situation in which like she brings him home and like all excited to see the princess and everything, and then she explains to him what's going on.
Mhm.
Mhm.
Um,
Yeah. Yeah.
uh,
So,
oh boy.
oof. Okay.
I mean, that covers 3 cards.
Yeah.
Well, I think that how do you protect your home thing? We might want to figure out like how does that come up? Like, did the
Mhm.
sorcerer follow me? Did you
Ooh.
follow
Well,
me?
do you
because
just-
you were concerned?
Do you protect your home by not going back? Like, even just, like, disappearing and not coming back and being like, they're here! Like, that's...
Oh,
Mhm.
interesting.
Mhm.
Yeah. So basically,
Point.
like, by
Oh yeah,
just
so I
ghost-
protect my new home because this is my home now.
Mhm.
And I'm not gonna
not
make
gonna
them
sell us out.
unsafe. Yeah, I'm not gonna
Mhm.
sell them out. Like,
I.
yeah, and I because I think, oh gosh, I
Okay.
in the interest of time, I think we're gonna probably montage this, but I think
Yeah.
like the end of it is like we do see like him like kind of like as they walk into the cave, like as like a for sure last time thing, he
Mhm.
kind of looks regretfully
Yeah.
over his shoulder, like
Yeah. Seem kind of
thinking,
Maybe-
like
thinking of dad.
Maybe we can,
Yeah.
like, as you follow Amelia back, because you've been gone so long, we hear Roland shout out after you. Like, Aspen?
And then the door shuts.
Yeah,
Oh,
exactly.
so I think like the way this is cut in the way this movie is cut in my mind, like we hear Rosie get real excited, like Aspen, and then we get that cut and that
Oh.
Aspen and that silence, and then the door slams.
Yeah. Yeah.
Ouch.
Yeah.
All right.
Go team!
I'm so excited.
Oh man.
So,
I didn't think this was a game where shit could get real, but apparently this is a game where shit could get real.
yeah, shit got real. Wow. Okay. You discover a mysterious image etched upon a stone. So past is the only one that's left that we didn't play.
Mm-hmm.
Okay. Options here. I think. What if this is an image etched on a stone? This is the same as an illustration in that picture book that Rosie and I used to read.
What?
From a text way back. This is a really ancient fairy tale, and it has a picture of a stag.
It was an old book.
That's the reason. she
Oh, that's
believes-
why she's like, that's why the stag protects
Oh!
us. It's the one from the
Yeah.
story. Oh my god. It's
And
all
I-
connected.
Is this something that Aspen finds by himself, or is it maybe something that Rosalie and Amelia, God, names, they have names now.
Do they find it outside or in the home?
Yeah.
I think Aspen like probably went way further back in this cave than
he
either
started
of them
exploring.
did. Like, yeah, like he just like started exploring, and like he comes like running back, and they're like, you won't believe what I found.
Oh,
He has a bit of an exploring problem.
funny. They both do.
I want this family to be happy.
I know. I'm sure that you're from Mom of Learn and Dad of Learn. Okay. That
Okay.
was very good.
Oh boy.
So are we doing the princess now that she has
That
found
seems to be-
Aspen?
Oh man.
I think-
Either way.
I think narratively it'd be really interesting to go to Roland and then end on the princess.
Yeah. I
Okay.
like that a lot. Yeah.
Okay.
Mhm.
Go ahead and do your thing.
Yeah. Boop. And boop. And boop. And boop. I cannot resize them.
Yeah, let me do that.
Oh.
Imagining that in like
Oh! fuck.
Hang on.
Oh my god, I'm sad now. I think I know the answer.
I think I know the answer.
Yeah.
I hurt so much right now.
Yeah. All right. I think
I
might.
think we're running away into the forest, guys.
I might just go into like reverse order here. I'm gonna start with the past. You find the bones of a creature massive and ancient. Describe how you make this discovery. Do you know what it once was? Do these creatures still exist? We find the bones of a giant stag
Yes.
Of course.
in the forest. And how I discover it is after like an hour or two passes and Aspen doesn't return, Roland gathers everyone up and goes to like search for him. He forms everyone up as a search party. And there's an argument, I think, that happens between Roland and the sorcerer, where the sorcerer wants to focus on this doorway and getting this working. Like, this is how we're going to find the princess. You don't understand. Like, this is important, Captain. And
You do not realize the significance of this, Captain.
yes.
Yeah.
He's so slimy.
And I think
Peak Disney villain.
I think the captain, like, in response to that, just puts his helmet on and says, "Oh, I do, sorcerer. I do. But Aspen is out there." And he takes everyone out to go find Aspen, and comes across this skeleton, which is... I don't think it's like arranged as if the stag died here. I think it's been rearranged, and it marks an entrance into an underground complex.
Oh shit!
Um,
Oh shit!
so
We gonna get found.
There's a
I think we
place-
know the answer. I think we know the answer to the "Do these creatures still exist?" Maybe.
yeah, Roland doesn't know,
Yeah.
but we
Roland-
know.
Yeah, I'm imagining
we
this is like some like
know.
Mononoke shit. Honestly,
I know.
Like,
I'm not sure if the stag's actually alive.
yeah, like
But-
is the stag a god? I feel like the stag might be a god.
The stag might be a god.
The
The
stag,
stag-
might be a god.
The stag might be a Deus Ex Machina. We'll
Yeah.
see.
Yeah.
There's a place in the wild you retreat to for quiet moments. Describe the location and tell how you discovered it.
Oh, that sounds like a flashback.
I think. Actually, no. I'm gonna do that one last. You decide to add another building to your property. Describe its purpose. What happens during construction? I'm going to interpret this very loosely, if you don't mind.
Go for it.
I think we reach, like, as we're going through these tunnels and passageways and chambers, we find a door, like a gateway that's been shut, made of heavy stone, and I think we've been searching for a long time, and Roland finds this. It's like the last passageway that they hadn't gone down yet, and he reaches the door and they can't open it, and he just like leans his head up against it, and like he doesn't hit it, he just like rests his fist on it in frustration, and then he hears voices. He hears Aspen and Rosalie beyond the doorway, like very faintly, and so he mobilizes everyone to like find what they can and dig through this door, like go back to the camp, get our tools, get hammers, picks, anything to break our way through here. And I think the next card will be, what has this place given you that you could not gain elsewhere? And I think that's the moment when the door is finally opened. Roland just like pushes past everyone and shouts into the darkness, Aspen, are you there?
Well, boss? And he kind of like looks to Amelia.
Aspen? Is that voice?
I didn't do anything, I swear.
I think Roland like
sorry,
runs
miss, I think
in.
we've been found.
Oh, yeah.
I
Rosie
think
immediately ducks behind
Yeah,
Amelia.
like we see Amelia immediately push Rosalie behind her. Like almost completely behind her, so her cloak and skirts are sort of covering her.
Aspen, thank God you're all right. And Roland like falls to his knees in front of Roland, or in front of Aspen.
I think Aspen would like came up to like was looking up to him as he approached, like expecting to be like in trouble. I think he like started to like get ready,
Get a boxing about the ears.
Yeah.
And
like
Roland just grabs you and pulls you into a hug.
But
I was so worried. I thought something had happened to you.
well, I think he kind of like he like pats Roland on the head like a couple times.
I think Roland takes his helmet off and leans back and stands back up to take in the what he's seeing here.
I think this might have opened into not the library, but an adjacent room, one of the ones that they were in the midst of working on uncovering. It might be the room where they found the image.
I think it's where the carving was.
Yeah.
And then like a voice comes from behind them, or from behind Roland. You've done very well, Captain.
Excellent work.
Yes.
God, how Disney can we make it?
And
Roland.
Amelia, why?
You don't understand. I was protecting her.
From what?
She, like, I think we see her eyes go to the sorcerer pretty immediately, and she is definitely llama bear mode with this child behind her.
I think the sorcerer probably has like some like magical energy in his hands.
I think the sorcerer's like
Rosalie is
about to do
definitely,
a
like,
thing.
More than hiding, she is like clutching to Amelia's skirt. She's scared now.
Don't worry, sweetheart. It's all right. I'll protect you.
And the sorcerer, in like true just scum of the earth villainy fashion, I think says something along the lines of, "I was hoping to only have to kill one child for this." And when he says that, Roland turns and just leaps at him and jumps in the way and catches the magic. My last card for this turn is, there's a place in the wilds you retreat to for quiet moments. Describe the location and tell how you discovered it. What draws you to it? There's a clearing near their camp. It was made artificially, like they chopped down a bunch of the trees there to get resources for their camp, and I think Aspen did practice there.
He had like targets set up and stuff.
And I think
I think Aspen probably had a little bit of like mild hero worship going on. Like I think there was definitely like a day like will you teach me to to sword, like that kind of.
Yeah.
Yeah.
And I think it started with like Aspen was doing target practice here, and Roland would just sort of show up and like sit and like go through his paperwork or something, like it just to get away from
Captain,
everybody else.
blah blah blah.
Yes,
Yeah.
yes. Do you have,
Yeah.
Yeah.
and then over time he started like saying he'd like say something to Aspen
Give him
and be
advice.
like, your stance is too wide and stuff like that. It just like until eventually he couldn't not anymore. And I think that's where he retreats to when he needs a quiet moment. But I think also in this moment, that's where his mind is cast back to. And then he hits the stone hard. I don't. This is a Disney movie, so we don't know
Yeah.
if he's dead. But
Yeah, we don't know what's happened yet, but
Yeah,
we definitely
yeah.
hear Amelia shriek his name.
Boss.
and that's
Next turn?
That's gonna be my turn. Yeah.
How does our Disney princess save the day?
Oh God. Yeah.
Yeah, so let me get her card up in
Oh my god, that's such a good card for
Mm-hmm. Uh-huh.
Wow. So where's our Deus Ex Machina, dear?
Yeah.
Oh, what?
That'll be a good
What?
time for that stag to
Dear-
show up.
our dearest ex machina.
Our dearest Ex Machina, yes.
I hate this.
Okay. Yeah. All right. Time to pack it up, guys. Stream's over.
My camera is rattling because Percy is rubbing his face all over the monitor.
Oh,
He's very into this content.
he is. We all
Okay.
Oh
are.
wow, these are such good cards for this.
Oh,
God!
Fuck!
Oh.
Billy?
You did it.
Oh, I guess
You got the cards. These are the cards.
These are exactly the cards.
yeah. So, I think certainly the secret that she's been keeping is a magical one, perhaps. She's gonna. So I think that might be a good place to start, and then the other three can help inform our epilogue or how we help our poor fallen salty guardsmen.
It could also be
Yeah.
that the others inform your secret,
Yeah.
right?
Yeah, like,
Like,
are these
Okay.
like
Yeah.
Mm-hmm.
these could be flashback things that because we were uncovering places. She may have skipped away sometimes when
Yeah.
Amelia
Yeah.
wasn't looking and found more down there.
when Amelia wasn't looking, you mean when she left her alone purposefully and went outside to go get
Yes.
stuff, expecting her to
Yes.
still be there when she came back?
Yeah.
This 8-year-old, because that's totally how 8-year-olds work.
Uh-huh.
Most trusting
She gave
tutor
her-
in the
She gave her
land.
like a stack of storybooks and figured she'd be okay.
Mm-hmm.
Well,
Whoops.
leave a kid alone, she gets magic powers.
I almost think that the place with an air of mystery and the ancient burial ground can kind of fold into the same place.
Yeah.
And I definitely think she goes exploring like deeper in the cave one day because she's not allowed to leave the house. The cave is still the house.
All of the cave is the house.
Yeah.
This is my house now.
If I can't see daylight, I'm fine. I'm gonna go
Whoa.
explore. So I think we flash back to one of the times when she was alone while Amelia was gathering stuff they needed in order to live. And
Food.
I think she finds just another like an underground version of this temple that still is connected to the sky, but it's like a tunnel to like a skylight way above.
Mhm.
It's like this big vaulted room that she discovers, and how she was able to keep her mouth shut about it this whole time, I don't know.
Maybe she figured that like, oh, if I told her that I went that deep in our house, she'd get mad. Like
Get
she
mad.
probably
She'll
had
get in
a
trouble.
moment of- Yeah. She's like, oh, I don't want to do that. She'll get mad at me.
And I think she just, and I think there's like there's imagery here, but it's made of like bits of colored glass. So what little light is filtering through hits the glass, and it's just sparkle. You know, and she walks around and
we do the like circle shot around her,
Yeah,
all
yeah.
colored in
Yeah.
the light, as she's just like,
Yeah.
"Ah."
There
And
is a
when the
musical
camera-
number that goes with this.
I was about to say the same thing. Yep, this is a song.
and when the camera circles back around, with a shot of her back looking forward, I think we see the stag on like a raised pedestal in the middle.
She found Aslan.
Oh no!
Stagland.
Stagland! Bring us home, Stagland.
Oh god, ow. So, and I think she is at first like, and she's really quiet and she doesn't want to disturb it, but then like it's looking at her. So she walks up and just very wordlessly, the hand way above because it's large, on like the top of its, they have like a toothless and hiccup moment where you know, she touches his snout and then leans her forehead against his, and I think some kind of magical bullshit happens. That we can all imagine. There's like a swell of orchestral music, all this fun stuff.
2/3 of the animation budget.
She
was
get
on
lifted
this
up the
shot.
ground,
On this
off the
particular
ground.
shot. Yeah. We see, oh God, we see like a montage of like all the pages from that storybook.
Yeah. And I think that's kind of like, this may even be like a scene from that storybook about like the princess and the stag, and some like it's all coming true right now.
It's
And
the page Aspen tore out of the book.
It was
Absolutely.
a prophecy, not a storybook.
Oh my God.
So that's the secret she's been keeping, apparently, that she met the white stag in their
Okay.
house that apparently has a sanctuary in it.
Yeah.
So how
Mhm.
how does our Deus Ex Stagland fix
How do-
this?
Yeah. How do we not have a dead Roland, and how do we have a dead sorcerer, or punished sorcerer,
An off-screen dead sorcerer.
An off-screen sorcerer.
And-
Yeah.
And off-screen, so I do like the idea that was mentioned kind of offhand earlier of the sorcerer being flung through a space and like away from them.
Is there maybe another door type of space in this chamber, like another
Yeah.
portal?
I was sort of imagining that the sorcerer was so fixated on the doorway, not just to like make a connection to this other world maybe that he wanted to go to, but also because it could get to here specifically.
Mhm.
I think there's another one here.
Yeah.
Mhm.
And like maybe the temples were actually what he was after.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Mm-hmm. Yeah, and like probably
and if
this
this is the
place that
room-
we're- let's say
Where
this
the
place that
carving
we-
is.
yeah, that we're holed up in
Yeah.
is probably actually a temple.
Mhm.
Probably, yeah. Yeah.
So there's
we-
another one of those stone doorways here.
Mm-hmm.
And I think I'm not sure if she's entirely conscious of what's happening when it happens.
It's like in super magical avatar mode.
It's like is it one of those like shots where like everyone else is moving at like speed and she walks slow motion?
Yeah, with some real Song of the Sea stuff happening right now. But and I think we see like the glyphs and carvings around this stone doorway just light up, and like the doorway itself lights up, and she just rakes her hand, and the sorcerer goes flying through it.
Nice.
And then like the magic winks out, and so
Yeah.
he's like gone.
What if a ghostly stag appears and like shoves him?
Yeah,
Points him the rest of the way.
Yeah.
Just
like Stagland.
boom.
Yeah.
We probably
Yeah,
get
like, oh my God,
what are you doing? This is impossible.
Mhm.
Yeah. Like he gets punted towards the door, but then like, and there's
Mhm.
a sort of like, oh, we did it, and then we see like the hand of
Yes.
the door frame, and like he almost makes it out and almost like does something like maybe
Yeah.
he like is about to pull the princess in, and
Yeah,
then
he,
the
like-
stag appears.
And
Mhm.
just
Mhm.
rockets him in, and then the magic ends,
Yeah,
Mhm.
and the door is gone. Ooh,
Yes.
but Roland.
but Roland,
Yeah.
though.
That's
Um,
okay. We could use the epilogue for that.
Yeah.
Potentially, I have an idea.
I mean, someone needs to nurse him back to health.
Someone's a really smart lady, so
Yeah.
and she might have figured out that alembic and alchemy. We don't.
Oh yeah,
Look, someone has
Yeah.
a name.
Point of order. Aren't there also like 4 other really confused sword soldiers in here right now?
They're probably like,
I feel like,
Not like this is above my pay grade.
yeah. Well,
they're just pieced out. We'll wait outside, sir.
Nope.
yeah.
I didn't sign on for this. I didn't sign on for this.
Yep. These are those like generic soldiers, and literally every single one of them is voiced by Jim Cummings. Okay.
Shall we
So
epilogue?
I think we're
Yes.
epiloguing.
let's epilogue. Let's find our future. So, when all the cards have been drawn, compose your epilogue. Discuss your findings, weave your tale. We've done all of that, and describe the end of your character's tale. So together, we answer the following questions. Do you live out your lives here or eventually leave? What becomes of your home over the next few generations? What changes occur in the land over the next several generations? And what things are left behind long after you and your home are a thing of the past? I will say to weave our end over in the cards to this, I think we can say that Amelia, in all of her workings, because they had time,
Mhm.
Mhm.
she maybe found books in the library and learned how to use
Mm.
alchemical tools,
Mhm.
and has
Mhm.
figured out how to craft some potions and like can get Roland back.
Yeah,
alive.
I feel like there probably also is a certain amount of like, oh, it's not as bad as it looks. I've dealt with worse.
Yeah, like he got zapped a good bit and he's like sore, but
Yeah.
he'll be fine.
Yeah. There's a lot of like Aspen trying to be helpful over this process.
Amelia gives him like a list of herbs to go get, and he comes back with twice as many.
Yeah, exactly.
Yeah.
And I'm like, well, I don't know what this does, but like, it's super green. It's got to do something good. And like, cut to the rash slowly itching up his
Yeah.
arm.
It's like, dear, that's poison oak. But...
Like Amelia has her hands full, so she's like, the calamine lotion that we definitely had to take some time to make. Hands it to Rosalie and just like,
Yeah.
help this poor boy.
Yeah.
No, Rosalie is the one. Rosalie is the one that points out to him that it's poison oak. When he's like, I don't know what this is, but she's like, that's poison oak.
Yeah.
Give me a rash. We definitely get a few
okay.
shots. We definitely get a few shots, like by the fire of Amelia getting dinner for Roland and helping him while he's still recovering, and
Mhm.
all this bullshit where she's feeding him soup or something.
Oh yeah.
Gross.
I think he tells the guards to go back alone, and like I think there's a story, that he has them tell about the sorcerer, like turning on them, but leaving out the part where people's like made it out okay. Just like casually skip over that part,
Yeah.
please.
Don't
Oh, yeah.
mention the part where we found the princess. Like,
Yeah.
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 And that, like, and to say that Roland was lost in the ensuing scuffle.
yeah. They did see him get struck down by the sorcerer.
Yeah.
That's not a lie. Okay. So do we figure this family decides to just stay here?
I think like we've kind of like pseudo established Rosalie as some sort of like she's got a
Magic
significant
person?
connection
Yeah.
to, like
She's like
Avatar,
a-
priestess
she's like-
of the land.
Yeah. She's like the last priestess of the White Stag Order or something. I don't know.
Yeah.
I think like as time goes on, that's something that Rosalie wants to explore. Like she wasn't really super about palace life, but she's about this.
So
Holy crap.
So the sorcerer wanted to like connect this world to another one, right?
Mhm.
And there was
She's from
something
this other
about the
world?
temple. Maybe she is, and maybe the eventually
She was
leaving.
adopted.
Yeah. Maybe the eventually leaving is opening up that gateway and going there.
Ooh, and seeing
We
where
all
the
we just finale of Korra this.
Yeah.
Everyone walks into the spirit world holding hands.
sweet.
I'm here
I
for
dig.
it.
I dig. So what becomes of I guess in this case our home is now the temple.
hmm
Because I assume the camp. Well, we could talk about what happens to the camp.
Mhm.
But what becomes of the temple that we stayed in and the camp over the next few generations now that we've left it behind because we pieced out to the spirit world?
I love that so much.
Oh, we got a raid.
Yeah.
I mean, I
Hi.
think... So what becomes of our temple after? So I think, like, I think that depends on what this connection to the stag, like, activated. Because, like, it seems like we started something here that hadn't
Mhm.
been done in a long time. So, like, is this like a situation where that was a key ingredient to start something in this land?
Ooh, maybe
Mm.
Like, is
because
there
there
something
was
that
that.
can now start to grow now or something?
Yeah, like well, because there was that very magical glade clearly with the like
Mhm.
Yeah.
really perfect water.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Maybe the land starts to gain that quality, that mystical
Mhm.
life about it. You look like you
Yeah.
have an idea, Dylan.
I was thinking about taking it in the other direction, where like
Oh.
the magic that was here
Kind of
isn't
dies
needed,
away.
isn't needed anymore. It doesn't die away. It just returns to where it came from.
Right. It's
Right.
it's pulled to the forefront for like this one act, I think.
And then recedes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
So then, what?
Like I think
So-
over the
What's
next
the
few
actual,
generations,
like-
like it grows over and like animals
Mhm.
move in to the
It
Mhm.
just
the
becomes
spaces.
a ruin.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Okay, so we're thinking like this prophecy thing that we created was about bringing this thing that shouldn't have been brought into this realm because of corruption, like the sorcerer,
Mhm.
bringing
Mhm.
it back to where it should be.
Yeah, I think the
Restoring
sorcerer
balance.
wanted to like pull the power from
Yeah,
this
yeah,
world.
yeah.
Yeah. And was
Yeah.
gonna like use it to conquer the world probably because
Yeah.
Because Disney villain.
Disney villain, yeah.
So maybe like the stag that Amelia and Rosalie met has been trapped on this side.
Yeah,
Oh.
exactly.
It was just waking up
Mhm.
Yeah.
because the princess waking up like got everything going in the direction it needed to for that power to be pulled back into the realm.
Mhm. Mhm.
Yeah. Love
Yeah.
it.
Good.
Did it.
Good.
The stag was probably like a spirit guardian of the princess or something.
hmm
And when she was taken, followed her here and got trapped.
Yeah. Oh, yes.
And was looking and waiting.
Yeah.
But could probably only go so far from the temple.
Mm,
Sweet.
I like that.
So I think we also answered what changes occur in the land over the next
Mhm.
several generations. What things of ours are left behind long after we and our home are a thing of the past?
I think Roland and Aspen make like set up a small monument outside.
Yeah. I think also Rowan's journal book stays here because he's kept writing in it like
Mm.
every day, like up to the very end. And I think he does actually just end it with like he leaves it there by this monument as they're all getting ready to step into the spirit world for good, and just ends it with, and they all lived happily ever after. And then sleep
I
there.
think the monument talks about life not being just one story, right? I think it's something along the lines of life is many interconnected stories, and just because the first one ends badly doesn't mean that the other ones have to as well. I think that's what Roland puts on this monument.
Wow.
Oh, these two.
I love like the contrast of like that is a very Roland thing to leave behind, and that is a very Aspen thing to leave behind.
Yep.
And they're both just there.
Yeah. I think one of the books from the library, and maybe even the storybook, gets
Rosalie
left
leaves behind her favorite story.
Yeah.
I think, since I'm leaning into this, she apparently became an alchemist thing. Or druid or something. I don't fucking know. I think over the time while she was here, Amelia probably like did a lot of studying on the local herbology of the place, and like concocted a lot of these things, like found these recipes, created some of her own for these very useful cures and medicine and things. And I think she leaves that behind in a place where it might be potentially found, not necessarily by the monument, but
you put it in the library.
Oh yeah.
Yeah.
There's
She adds a book to the library. or leaves it there with the alchemical tools in a neat and orderly fashion.
I like the idea that maybe it's implied that this is the entire, like, this is how the entire library happened. It's just over time moments like this.
People added to it.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Like, this isn't the first time this particular story has taken place.
Yeah.
Hell yeah.
Good.
Well,
Good.
we have finished the game.
Oh my god. That
We
was
told an
Ancient
entire
Stones.
Disney movie in 2 rounds.
Don't go anywhere, chat, because we're not done. But I want to talk for a little bit about this particular game. That was awesome, Jess. Good job. You made a good game.
Yeah. Yeah.
That was more than I ever expected out of it. And friendly reminder, we only pulled 2 hands apiece.
Yeah.
Yeah. God.
There's a lot. Wow, God. So replayability, I guess, is a thing that this has.
For sure.
Oh, yeah.
No,
Yeah.
I mean, and this is a thing that comes up a lot with prompt games, I think, where I think especially, and I ran into this writing Spoken Magic, because it's also a card prop game, where I was like, is this really enough for you to like do this multiple times? And there's a thing that happens when you introduce new people to things, or even just introduce things in new orders, where you begin a context with whatever you start with, and then everything is based on that context as you go. And I think it was really good that we each pulled a U card at the beginning.
Yeah.
I think
Yeah,
having that.
Yeah.
I like that to ground the characters. I think that'll I'll add that in as the step to take at the beginning.
And I liked having that as like you drew a card first, and then we built off of that. I thought that worked really well. Because this cast of characters, this sweet family could not have happened if we hadn't done that.
Yeah.
That worked out real well. I'm surprised and yet not, because I do what we do.
You did a good job.
Yeah, like I could see how you could play this game and do it a little bit more like
Mhm.
by the book exactly, like because we did approach this from the we're going to tell an actual story with these like that is a
Mhm.
personal story that is also very much about the land, but like
Mhm.
is less directly about like this is the home we live in.
Yeah.
Well,
Mhm.
This is my
Like
house I
we told
built.
a Disney movie, like which I didn't think that was what this game was built to do. I'm really glad it did it because that was amazing, but that was not at all what I expected to have happen
Yeah.
here.
well,
Mhm.
I don't think that's an inherent quality of the game necessarily. Like, I don't think the game can only tell Disney movies. I guess. Is what I'm
Oh
Mhm.
trying
yeah,
to
no,
get
I'm
at.
not saying that at all.
Definitely.
What I'm actually saying is like it's more flexible
It
in that
can.
sense.
Yeah,
It
yeah.
Yeah.
can tell
I-
all these different like modes through different modes of play with
Mhm.
different groups of people who are approaching this from a different like
Yeah, 'cause you
perspective.
could-
Like it makes sense that it turned out this way with us because
hmm
we do what we do. This is what we know that we like. This is the sort of game that we
Mhm.
know we like to play,
Mhm.
and this happened to
Mhm.
facilitate that really well.
Mhm.
But
Sort
a different
of-
group of people could approach it differently.
Sort of the thought I had while we were playing was that I think a thing that would be really cool with this game that would work really well is like setting prompts, sort of like the
Yes.
the
Kind of
paths in
like the
dialect.
dialect thing.
Yeah.
Yes.
Yeah.
Mhm.
Yeah.
Where you
I-
like, because I was thinking about this and I was like, if we went into this knowing someone has kidnapped the princess and someone is following, like,
Mm-hmm.
then we would have gotten this or something different, right? Because we could have gotten more directly tangled. Like, it didn't have to be this teacher figure and this student figure,
Yeah.
and that parallel, but also like, you know. You are the Vikings and winter the 10-year winter has come. You've moved south. What is that story? Like
Mhm.
Yeah.
Yeah, I actually had the thought after watching Grant and Ethan do their playtest and see how they like rolled through the content. I started thinking, I'm like, I'm gonna need to do something to propel character creation. But I also
Mhm.
thought, I'm like, you know what's establishing a few like settings that you could pick from
mhm.
to get
Mhm.
people quickly onto the same mode
Yeah.
might accelerate the beginning a little bit.
Yeah. And I feel like
But I
that's
also sort of like the ability to not do that and see what you get.
I think
Yeah.
you can legitimately leave it optional.
Yeah, yeah, you can have this deck of setting prompts that you can or you do or don't use.
Yeah.
You know.
well, even so
Or
dialect
just a list to choose from.
Yeah,
the-
exactly.
the settings, I forget what they're called precisely. The setting prompts
Backdrops?
for backdrops.
Backdrops.
Thank you.
Backdrops.
The backdrops in dialect are optional, in that it says it gives you all the explanation of how to use a backdrop, and then it says here are some example backdrops, so that you can leap into it if you want to,
Okay.
but also you can totally
You can be like, nah.
make your
Mhm.
own. And I feel like a similar approach here could be good, where you're like, come up with a setting. Here are some
Yeah.
examples. That way
Yeah.
people know, like, yeah, the default mode is make your own thing, but
Mm-hmm.
also when you're new to it, that's hard.
Yeah, exactly. But yeah, like because having that at the outset completely changes the context of what you react to with these. Like,
Right.
Right.
oh no, kidnapped princess and teacher, versus oh shit, Vikings.
Yeah, or even like,
Yeah.
oh no, princess and her dashing lover that has taken her from the castle.
You've eloped into
Um,
the wilderness.
but I
Have
think-
fun.
One of the great
Yeah.
things about the backdrops is they set different levels of stakes, and I think you can do a similar thing here, where you could be like, you've moved to a small, you've moved to a property in Oregon, right?
Yeah,
like
exactly.
you can have that,
Yeah, yeah,
and
yeah,
the princess has been kidnapped, and they both work just as well.
Mhm.
Yeah, like I think Ethan and Grant, they kind of played like a pair of explorers. Who
Nice.
like a Lewis and Clark almost, that just were like out there
Yeah.
exploring and found a spot to settle, and then they became like these pigeon speaking wild men that were found years later.
Of course, that surprises me not at all.
That's the most Grant and Ethan thing I've ever heard.
Yep. It was beautiful to
Awesome.
watch. It was very great. But yeah. Good job, guys.
Yeah, thank you
Thanks so
for
much.
sharing this game with us.
Yeah.
So it's
Yeah,
not
that was a lot of fun.
it's not available yet, right? Like there's no place that, okay, so
No.
but people, you should be following Jess. Her Twitter's right under her face over there. You should be following her on Twitter because she will definitely mention it when it is somewhere you can get it. But yeah, so we're going to go to a break and then play a second game. We're going to play Spoken Magic. But it's late where she is.
Yeah, Em needs to go to sleep.
I was definitely supposed to be in bed like
an hour ago. Yeah, so
but we did what we do.
Yeah, this was so fun and so worth it. So thank you so much.
Thank you so much for joining us and bringing us Aspen.
Oh my god.
Seriously,
I have a new
this is
son
so
now. He's my son.
But yeah, thank you, and definitely also follow Em. Her name is on the screen. It will not be on the screen when we come back from break, so write it down or go follow right now.
Yes.
But yeah, we're gonna step away for about 10 minutes, and when we come back, you shall see some
magic.
spoken magic. All right. See you soon.